What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to part 17 of our Pokemon Z walkthrough. In the previous video, we arrived in Lumio City and we pretty much explored the entire city of Lumios. It is absolutely massive. We also managed to find a couple cafes where you can trade for a whole bunch of different starter Pokemon. And we also discovered 2 legendary Pokemon. We went down below the city to the crypts where we found the legendary Pokemon Darkrai. And then we entered one of the cathedrals and went to the top where we found the legendary Pokemon Cresselia. So it was an absolutely jam-packed episode. Lumios is really big, so it did take us a while to explore everything. We also investigated the kid that stole from Melia. So we ended up following the kid to an orphanage, and there we actually bumped into Elka, where we found out a whole bunch more about her past. So she actually grew up in the orphanage, and it looked like she had quite a rough upbringing. So it was quite interesting to find out that part of the story. But before we ended off the last episode, we bumped into Myra, and he told us that in order to enter the royal palace, we're going to have to dress up as some of the musketeers or some of the guards that work here. So we ended up battling a trainer for her outfit. Now, in today's episode, we have entered the royal palace, and it's quite a big building. And it turns out there are a couple puzzles and clues that we have to figure out in order to work our way through the royal palace and hopefully reach King Aster. So we are trying to talk to everyone that we come across in the palace to try to get some more clues. We just spoke to someone who told us that in the dining area where there's a large table, if you go to the top center chair, there's supposed to be something hiding there or something. We have also found a few statues, and apparently we have to get the statues to all face where the king's room is. So we are slowly gathering more clues, and you can go and chat to your friends there. Chrysanto and Myra are waiting in the hallway, and if you chat to Chrysanto, he will go over all the clues that you have found out. So if you do come and chat to people and get a clue, you can go to Chrysanto and he will remind you of them. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to chat to everyone to get all the clues and then try and piece it together and see what order we have to do these things. There has to be a specific order that we have to complete one section to unlock the next, and so on. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. And in the palace, there are also a whole bunch of teleportation pads. We aren't able to use the teleportation pads yet. Apparently we need some kind of key, but we've also just found the second statue. So I'm not sure where we have got to actually face the statues. We are trying to make them face the center for now, but do take note of which direction I make the statues face. As you can see, we've just come and changed another statue, one of the first ones. We first made it face east, and now we've made it face north. And if you get all 3 of those statues facing the right way, I think it's supposed to face where the king's palace is now, then you will supposedly unlock a special item. We also got a clue that there is some kind of watering can that we might need, so we got to be on the lookout for that. And now we're exploring pretty much the last wing to the palace, which is the eastern wing. We're going to try and pick up all the items here and see if there are any more clues. I am trying to interact with all the flowers and everything to see if there's anything hiding there or if there's anything we have missed, but I will show you exactly what you need to do. Here we just spoke to another woman who gave us a clue. She said in the courtyard there's one set of flowers that's a different color from the rest. So that is another clue that we have to keep in mind. And we have also found the third and final statue, which we made to face west. So I think we've got all 3 statues correct. We're just going to the western wing and upstairs. This is the last area we haven't investigated. And we've just found the magic watering can. So I think we've got those statues facing the right way. When you get all 3 of them facing the correct way, you will find that magic watering can. So now we're going to go back to the courtyard and find the unique flowers. And as you can see, there are some dark red flowers here on the east. If you water them, you will get a magic talisman. So we are slowly unlocking the keys to work out this puzzle. But then as we try and leave, the revolutionaries enter the palace. So we're going to have to battle some of them, and they're blocking some of the paths now. So it looks like we have got a tough situation on our hands. We're still going to have to try and complete 1 or 2 of the little puzzles. But in the midst of that, we're going to have to battle a bunch of revolutionaries and try and work our way through. So now that we've got the talisman, we have actually entered the main room of the palace. And here we have found King Aster, and his general is also here. So Myra, Chrysanto, and Melia have also joined us. And in this area, you can actually heal up your Pokemon and also open your PC storage. King Aster tells us that the revolutionaries are blocking a lot of the paths in the palace, so he has gifted us the palace key, which will now allow us to use those teleportation pads. So I think we're going to have to try and figure out how to get back to the dining area, because I think that's where the final clue is. We've got to activate this talisman while sitting in the middle top chair. And I don't know, we should unlock something, or something should happen then. But as you can see, it is blocked, so we're going to try and find some of the teleportation pads that will hopefully send us back to the beginning of the palace where we entered. We just tried the first teleportation pad, and it's taken us to some kind of storage room where we've picked up a few items. So we're going to go back and try and find the correct teleportation pad to take us where we need to go. There are a whole bunch of revolutionaries around the palace now, so we are battling them whilst exploring. We are going to skip those battles because this episode is already so long. I know you guys are probably curious why this episode is so long, but it is the final episode of Act 1. So after we complete this episode, we will start Act 2 of the game in the next. That's why it is a bit longer. We want to try and finish it off in one go. But it looks like we found the right teleportation pad, and we have come back to the beginning where we entered. And now we're going to try and make our way to that dining table. We just found a Porygon where you can heal up your team and also open your Pokemon storage. And we've also found a couple items here. So I'm not sure how we're going to actually reach that dining area. Hopefully this teleportation pad will take us there. We're trying to avoid any people that we don't need to battle. And yes, it looks like we have found the dining area, but before we can investigate with our talisman, Lanto arrives with 2 of his team Azos grunts, and it looks like we might have to battle him. So this is going to be a tough battle for us, but I am always down to defeat Lanto. Hopefully we can get the W and teach him another lesson. So Lanto now has 5 Pokemon on his team, and the first Pokemon he has sent out is a level 55 Frostlass, which our Delphox makes light work of. The next Pokemon he has sent out is his Perugly, which we also knock out. And now he has sent out a level 56 Lopunny, which he is using potions on to try and keep in battle, but our Delphox knocks it out as well. So we've knocked out 3 of Lanto's Pokemon already, and our Delphox is still in pretty good shape. But now Lanto has sent out his strongest Pokemon, which is a level 57 Lilligant. It knocks out our Delphox, but we send out Hypno next to finish it off. And now we have reached Lanto's final Pokemon, which is a level 56 Gardevoir. Our Hypno is doing a good job of hanging in there. We're trying to put our opponent's Pokemon to sleep and then use Dream Eater on them. Hypno also has the Nightmare ability, so any Pokemon that is asleep will lose a bit of HP each turn that it's still sleeping. And when we use Dream Eater, it causes more damage and heals up a bit of our HP. Our Hypno got knocked out, but our Pikachu finished off Lanto's Gardevoir, and we've defeated him yet again. But the next thing, he pulls out a knife and he tries to attack some of us. Chrysanto isn't too bothered, but he actually tries to attack Chrysanto. But Chrysanto stops him in his tracks. It looks like Chrysanto is actually pretty strong. He's got a whole bunch of muscles. He stops Lanto's knife and then knocks him out with a solid punch. So that's always good to see. It looks like Lanto is now taking a nice little nap. And now we can continue on. So we make our way to the dining table. We activate the talisman. And now we've been sent into a different dimension. And this is where things get a bit tricky, because here in the alternate dimension, there are a whole bunch of super strong trainers that we have to defeat, and only one of us can enter this area. And once you enter, you can't leave until you have defeated all of the trainers. So it looks like we have a tough road ahead. We talked to Chrysanto and Myra, and they both agree that we should go and enter this little trial and see if we can defeat the 4 strong trainers, as we have defeated Myra and Chrysanto in the past. So they decide we are the strongest trainer of the 3 of them. But before we go on, we use a Thunderstone on our Pikachu to evolve it into a Raichu, and it looks absolutely awesome. I love the design of this new poison and electric type Raichu variant. But now we're going to take on this challenge, and we've just decided to go with a random trainer first. You can battle them in any order. However, I think we may have chosen the toughest one for our team first. So we are facing a woman called Lady Melva. Luckily, she only has 4 Pokemon, but her Haxorus is an absolute weapon. This Haxorus has really high speed and attack, so it attacks first most of the time and pretty much one-shots all of our Pokemon. We're trying our best to knock it out, but it just keeps hanging in there. And as you can see, it's knocked out pretty much all of our team. 5 of our Pokemon are already knocked out, and we have only defeated 2 of Lady Melva's. So we are going to try and revive 1 or 2 of our Pokemon. And as you can see, we have decided to add Darkrai to our team, which we caught in the last episode. So hopefully Darkrai can bring this battle back. It's still under-leveled and doesn't have much experience or EV points, but we're going to try our best. It looks like we are now facing a level 57 Drapion. And Darkrai also has the Nightmare ability, so we are trying to put the Pokemon to sleep. And luckily Darkrai pulled it off. We got the W in the end, and we have defeated 1 of the 4 trainers. Our Darkrai needs a whole lot of training, and we probably need to teach it 1 or 2 new moves. We'll have to go through our TM list, but I think Darkrai might be a valuable asset then if we can strengthen it. And wow, we have just had our first look at the brand new legendary Pokemon. It looked really cool. I think its name was Oritosk or something. But wow, it looked really cool. Hopefully we can battle it later on in the game and potentially catch it. But after defeating all of these trainers, there are 4 trainers that we have to defeat now, but after you defeat each one, you will go back in a memory and you'll get a glimpse of some of the history of Lumios and the region. So we are getting a lot of information about the past in today's episode as well. But now it's back to business. We're going to try and take on the second trainer. I'm hoping they are not as tough as the first one. So the second trainer's name is Tilio, and he's also got 4 Pokemon. And the first Pokemon he has sent out is a level 57 Turtonator, which is a fire and dragon type. It knocks out our Delphox, and we send out our Raichu next. So it looks like a lot of our Pokemon are a bit under-leveled. After defeating these 4 trainers, we should be back up to where we need to be. Our Raichu is really struggling here. Turtonator keeps hitting us with a move that reduces our attack. So unfortunately, Raichu did get knocked out, but Turtonator also got knocked out in defeating us. The next Pokemon Tilio has sent out is a level 57 Sylveon, one of the fan favorite evolutions. We have sent out Porygon Z, whose moves are really effective. We knock out Sylveon, and then he next sends out a Cloyster. Porygon causes a lot of damage, but unfortunately gets knocked out. We then send out Delphox again, and Delphox finishes off Cloyster. And the final Pokemon we need to defeat is a Bastiodon, which is a Steel and Rock type. So our Delphox got knocked out, but we have sent out our secret weapon, which is Hypno. We have put Bastiodon to sleep, and we are slowly eating away at its HP. And we have done it. We have defeated Tilio, and that battle was slightly easier than the first, but again, really tough. Some of these battles are no joke. And now we are going back into another memory. In this memory, we actually see Tilio here and the previous trainer that we battled. So they must be like the ancient gym leaders or the ancient heroes that we're actually battling now currently. And there's also the old king here. So we are meeting some iconic characters in the game. And each time we defeat one of these trainers, we get a little bit more information, so we can put everything together once we've defeated all 4 of them. Here we also get a look at the legendary Pokemon Xerneas, Yveltal, and also Zygarde. And we did see the brand new legendary in the previous memory, so those are the 4 main legendaries in this game. And now we've just had our first look at a magical weapon. This weapon is supposed to be the most powerful and dangerous weapon. I think it can actually stop all the legendary Pokemon, and I think that's what Team Azoth is actually after, as well as Lanto. But now we return back to the dimension, and we're going to try and face the 3rd challenger. It looks like this challenger's name is Dresna, and she also has 4 Pokemon, so it looks like all of them have 4 Pokemon. If they had 6, we would have probably lost for sure. But Dresna's first Pokemon she sent out was a Togekiss, and now she has sent out a Gliscor, which is definitely her toughest Pokemon. But we do end up defeating Gliscor, and she's about to send out her next Pokemon, which is Snorlax. We decide to swap in a Marowak, and our Marowak's causing a ton of damage. We knock out Snorlax, and our Darkrai levels up. And now the final Pokemon we need to defeat is a level 57 Garganacl, one of the newer Gen 9 Pokemon. Our Hypno knocks it out pretty easily. This was definitely the easiest of the 3 battles so far. And now after defeating her, we go back into another memory. And here we can see someone chained up on the wall. There's a Scyther, and it looks like the ancient king or something. So it looks like she might be getting tortured. Things were looking absolutely crazy back in the day. I think we can be really lucky that we weren't alive in those times. But now we are back into the other dimension, and we're going to try and face the 4th and final trainer. It looks like his name is Narciso or something. He's supposed to be the master of illusions. So the first Pokemon he has sent out is a Gengar, but actually it's a Zoroark who was disguised as Gengar, so I suppose that's a part of his strategy. We knock out Zoroark, and now he sends out an actual Gengar, which we one-shot, and now he has gone with a level 57 Clefable. It looks like this guy definitely has a few tricks up his sleeve, but our Delphox knocks out Clefable, and now we've reached the final Pokemon, which is a level 57 Typhlosion, the fire and ghost type variant. Our Delphox gets knocked out, but we send out Raichu to finish it off. And again, that was an easier battle. I think the first 2 trainers were definitely the toughest for our specific team, and the last 2 were fairly easy. The first trainer we took on was by far the most difficult, so I think we started off on the wrong foot. And here we have gone back to another memory, and we're in the courtyard where that one flower was darker of a color compared to some of the others, so we might find out what's actually happened and why that flower is darker. And yes, it looks like the king actually stabbed someone here, so that might be the blood that stained the flowers. That would explain it for sure, but that is quite a tragic story. I do recommend that you read everything and pay attention, and then you will understand the storyline way better. But now that we've defeated the 4 trainers, we have received a book, which is really important. This book shows how to create the ultimate weapon project, which we saw in one of the memories. So I'm guessing we're going to have to try and keep this book safe at all costs. If we can get it to the professor, I think she might know what to do with it. But now we go back to Chrysanto and Myra and let them know that we defeated the challengers and we can try and make our way out of here. But before that happens, it looks like some other people try and rush in to stop us. And it's no one other than Elka, so we might be in a whole bunch of trouble here. I think we're definitely not strong enough to defeat Elka still. Even if the 3 of us try and take her on, I think she will still defeat the 3 of us. She's got her Grimmsnarl up front and is about to attack us, but then Chrysanto has a genius plan. He sends over his Wigglytuff and knocks over one of the huge pots of this weird liquid. It lands all over Elka and then she kind of shrinks. So I don't know if it's like her liquid that will counter the experiments that they've been doing on each other. Because I think Elka has used the experiments to get extra strong. And now she has gone back to normal once that liquid hit her. Luckily, Elka runs off after that, and that is our perfect excuse to get out of here. We go back to the normal world, and Lanto is still knocked out and sleeping there. But we chat with Myra and Chrysanto, and Melia also catches up to us now. So it looks like we might be able to go back to the area where King Astra was. But the next thing, another revolutionary enters, and they're attacking us, but Melia and her Floetta get rid of the revolutionary. But it looks like we may have dropped the book when all of this is going on. So hopefully we remember to pick it up and we don't just leave the book there. That's such an important book. But it looks like we did forget it, but luckily Melia picked it up, but she's got no idea what it is and how important it is. All that we can hope now is that Melia keeps it safe and that book doesn't fall into the wrong hands. If Lanto or Team Azoth get it, the whole region will be in danger. So let's just hope that Melia keeps it safe and she gives it to the professor. But now we go back to the main section of the palace and we find King Aster here, but it looks like the whole area has been ruined. So the revolutionaries obviously entered and attacked. And it looks like the general has been knocked out. I don't know if he's passed away, but General Merlot is not looking good. It looks like General Merlot has passed away, so that is absolutely shocking. I can't believe these revolutionaries are so heartless. But now King Aster is really mad and he's tired of always running and hiding. I think he wants to really just test out his strength, and he starts using Earthquake. I think he is pretty much given up. He doesn't mind if the whole palace collapses on us. So we got to try and battle him to stop him and calm him down. So we're going to take him on. He's only got 3 Pokemon at first, and they're not really that strong. We knock them out really easily, but he does have the new evolution, Royal Leon. We defeat King Aster. Hopefully that calms him down. He is going through a lot because I think General Merlot was his friend for many years. Melia also tries to calm him down. And then the next thing, Melia's mother appears. She's kind of like the ghost of the past, but Melia also spotted her when she was under attack by all those Houndoom. So it looks like Melia's mom appears just when we need her. And now she has spoken to King Aster and given him hope. And as you can see, he's just unlocked that special power again. He's gotten crazy strong just like Melia did. So it must be something in her family. And now we're actually going to battle Aster and Angeline, his wife. the both of them. So this is going to be a tough battle. King Aster was pretty easy, but I don't know if he's going to use the same Pokemon or if he's going to have stronger Pokemon now. So yes, it looks like his Pokemon are leveled up way higher than the first battle. And his wife has some interesting Pokemon too. The first two Pokemon we are facing are Golurk and Gyarados. And this battle was pretty tough. I think I lost twice before I actually defeated the both of them. So you do want to be prepared. If you do lose though, you do just revive back in the castle. So you don't have to work your way all the way back. It's pretty easy to just restart the battle. And this is the final battle of Act 1. So that's why it is so difficult. As you can see, they have just sent out a floor just now. But this is a brand new unique form. It's a regional variant that is a fairy and water type, so we do want to try and knock it out as quickly as possible. Things are not looking too good. I think we are down to our final two Pokemon, and King Aster just sent out his Royal Leon. Golurk is still hanging in there, so we've got a lot of Pokemon to defeat still. And the next Pokemon they have sent out is Sigilyph. So it looks like our Darkrai is the last Pokemon left, and our HP is in the red, but Darkrai pulls off a miracle and one-shot Sigilyph, so we knocked out Golurk and Sigilyph. I thought there were more Pokemon, but luckily Sigilyph was the last. So after that, King Aster pretty much blacks out. It looks like he has gone through too much trauma in today's episode. It doesn't look like Team Azoth and the Revolutionaries are going to stop, so we decide that we should send King Aster far away to some location where nobody knows where he is, where he can just live in peace and hide out for a while. So it looks like Melia might join him there for a while just to stay safe until things calm down. But as you can see, they have reached an area that's covered in snow, so they must have traveled quite far. And now we are chatting to all of the people. Myra seemed to have calmed a lot of the revolutionaries down. I think his name holds a lot of clout, so he does have a bit of power. And as you can see, Melia's still got the book there for the magical weapon, and King Aster has now spotted it. So I don't know, there's a lot gonna unfold in Act 2. I can't wait to see how this story plays out. But now we go back to Lumio City, and apparently there is a cart here to take us to the next town. We enter the cart with Myra and we have a drink to celebrate the end of all of that drama. But what do you know? Myra has double-crossed us. He's given us a drink but poisoned us, so we black out. I knew there was something off with Myra. Everyone was warning us not to trust him. So look what he's done. He's actually poisoned us. I can't believe he has double-crossed us like that. I wonder if he is actually working with Team Azoth or not. But now he's actually sent us off to some faraway prison. I can't believe Myra has actually done this after all the things that we have done to help him. So it looks like in Act 2 we might have to start off in a prison. I've got no idea how we can get out of the prison or if it's even possible. And all of our Pokemon get taken from us. So wow, what a betrayal, and that is the name of Act 2. I am really so shocked and can't believe that Myra double-crossed us like that. So it looks like the prison is called Oblivion Prison, and it looks really rough. So I've got no idea how we're going to work our way out of here, but I am excited for Act 2. But that's all it's going to be. Thanks for watching.